What's up, everybody? Welcome to BioS3 Raw TV. Tonight we're going to talk about something again, guys, and I'm doing this not to gloat. What I'm doing this to do is to prove to you guys that just because some people may not believe what you're saying, or they may think something differently, doesn't mean what you're saying is not true. In fact, it can help a lot of people. So let's just leave that there for a second. So we're going to talk about the way that diet affects your body hormonally, which affects your body fat, okay, going up and down, and really has nothing to do with a deficit or a surplus. Jerry, say it isn't so. So you're trying to tell me I can be in a surplus and still lose weight? Mm-hmm. Or still lose fat? Yes. Are you going to tell me that I can be in a deficit and still gain fat? Yes. I already talked about that one, and I went through the science on how that works. But we're going to talk about the first part today, which is your diet and testosterone levels. Now, every single time I put up something about IFYM or macros, the fucking crowd jumps in. Now the crowd is dwindling down and fucking fading away. The people who used to hoop and holler fucking 5-6 years ago about it's all calories and shit, those motherfuckers are all but gone. Many of those people are all but fucking gone because their theories, their practices didn't fucking pan out because they were full of shit. They knew this basic little bit about calories, fucking hammered it to everybody who would listen. And then when things didn't work out the way, it just takes time, guys. It takes time for the truth to come out. And what happens is over time, when these guys were applying this calorie shit over and over again, and it wasn't working for people, next thing you know, people stop following. They're like, fuck this guy, like it's not working. Matter of fact, there's an individual who put out a book about how to prep for a contest. We're not going to say the name or anything, but this fucked up this girl that I know so goddamn bad. She's been going to endocrinologists because they were talking about all about calories. She was on 800 calories a day doing 2 hours of fucking cardio because this individual said it's all about reducing calories, making the deficit bigger, and increasing cardio. And they wrote a fucking book about it. And these are supposed to be science-based individuals. And they're not even realizing that your hormones are affected by your diet. And by directly affecting those hormones, your body's metabolism, including your body fat and your muscle mass, changes. Add the training in, which is going to stimulate the muscle growth or stimulate the fat loss. You have an environment that's not just about calories. And the calories that the calories that your body goes through and burns changes hourly, if not daily, depending on your individual metabolism. But these motherfuckers it's all about calories, it's all about calories. No, we're going to find out today. Again, the Muscle PhD, he got some really cool shit up. We're going to find out again today 2 different ways that your body is affected by macronutrients, okay? Macros, and even the types of food you eat, not the calories, the fucking types of food you eat. Pay attention. So this study was done, I believe, in China, because all the names, they're definitely all Chinese names, and it doesn't say exactly where it was. It was in 2018. The study is about testosterone-associated dietary pattern predicts low testosterone levels and, zoom in on this thing, and hypogonadism, nutrients 10-1-1786. This came out in 2018. So this study found that certain dietary practices were associated with low testosterone levels. Well, we all know if you cut out fats, cut your fats really low, your testosterone is going to go down, right? But if your testosterone goes down, what happens? Well, you're going to lose muscle mass. You lose muscle mass, what happens? Your metabolism actually slows down. So now just by, let's say you pulled out those fats and you added carbohydrates so the calories didn't change, your body's still going to have that effect where it decreases testosterone, decreases muscle mass, even though your calories are above maintenance or whatever the fuck maybe it's maintenance or above, your metabolism is still going to slow down, your testosterone's going to go down, your body's going to change. Even if you're not in deficit, you're going to lose muscle. Okay, so pay attention to this, right? Simple carbohydrates, right? This is simple carbohydrates, restaurant food, and dairy products were all associated with lower testosterone and higher body fat. If you want to optimize your diet, both hormones and body composition, be sure to plan on cooking your own food and include plenty of vegetables. The occasional meal out or dessert is not a problem, just don't make a habit of it. Meaning if you're out there eating a lot of fucking processed foods and bullshit that's at these things, even if you're counting your macros and hitting your fucking macros, your body fat will go up because your testosterone goes down, your muscle mass will go down, and your body fat will go up because you're eating the same amount of calories with less muscle mass because your testosterone went down, and you will gain fat even at maintenance. The study fucking proves it. They even went after certain foods to see that certain foods had that effect, like the processed foods, the restaurant foods, right? Listen, another study. I love saying this because and this is partially gloating because I had people fucking dog me. You guys were fucking brutal to me for a lot of years, made fun of me, called me names, fucked with me nonstop. The wingnut fucking assholes, right? And now, all these, that was a 2018 study. So I can say, okay, well, these fuckers didn't really know. But I mean, there's other studies come out before that people were fucking with me with, and I said shit after that. Like, and they still fucking said shit, but there's still studies to back it up, but they just don't know it. So this study right here, carbohydrates at breakfast, right? This study found that eating a high-fat breakfast led to more fat loss throughout the day than a high-carb breakfast. Okay? So the type of macro that you eat in the morning for meal one affected how much body fat you lost throughout the day, not the calories. The type, a higher fat breakfast, not a higher fat diet, just a higher fat breakfast in that one meal. This is a study that fucking proves it. Now, some people go, well, Jerry, how the fuck is it possible? I don't fucking know. I have no idea how that's possible, but they replicated it over and over again, and they saw the results. So therefore, this is what is happening. It says high carb breakfast. So basically, the lunch was, it was a high fat breakfast. The lunch went back to regular carbs and lower fat. So this study compared a high fat 45% of calories breakfast to a high carbohydrate 60% of calories breakfast. Both groups underwent the same activity and diet throughout the rest of the day. It was found that the high-fat breakfast led to significantly more fat burning throughout the day than the high-carb breakfast. Other studies have shown similar results when comparing high-protein, high-carb breakfasts. Improving body composition is your goal. Sticking to a high-fat, high-protein, low-carb breakfast can help your progress. This study is called a high-fat compared to high-carbohydrate high-carbohydrate breakfast enhances 24-hour fat oxidation. Older results. The Journal of Nutrition, 2018. So again, this is another 2018 study. So I'll give people a little bit of slack because they were fucking with me in 2015 about the shit that I was saying. But here's studies in 2018. Both studies that caught up to exactly what the fuck I said 4 years ago was able to happen to someone's body, and I was able to replicate it over and over again, and I was told I was fucking nuts. I was told I was an idiot. I was a fucking loser. I'm a bro. Every single fucking time I stand up and say, hey, this works. I'm not really sure why, but this works. People go, Jerry, you're so fucking stupid because science says it doesn't work. Where the fuck did science say that? Well, science says this, science says that, and that basically translates to this. And I'm like, so you're trying to tell me this can't happen? No, but it happened. Matter of fact, it happened 37 times with 37 different clients. How do you explain that? And you know what's fucked up is I actually saw a post, and this, again, I want to make very clear that the people that I talk about as far as Lane Norton, and now I'm talking about Holly Baxter, which is actually his fiance, who I've never met Holly. She seems like the sweetest girl. She's always smiling, always in a great mood. Lane, I have no problem with. I actually respect Lane quite a bit, and I've actually said that in the past. But Holly actually talked about Refeeds on one of her posts recently, and I follow them because I'm entertained by their stuff, and I want to learn too because I learn stuff from Lane and Holly too. I'm not fucking against learning stuff from people that, you know, are my peers, right? And my peers, I don't say that I'm on par with them because Lane's got a PhD. I mean, like, we're the same age, and we're all in the fucking same, you know, type of realm as far as the fitness industry. But they were talking about how leptin levels decrease and how a single refeed day is not enough to increase the leptin levels to where your body continues to lose fat. So basically, one single refeed day is not going to help you lose fat any faster. And science proves, and the studies prove, Holly said, that it's better to take a whole week diet break and eat maintenance for that whole week to get the leptin levels back up so that you can start oxidizing more fat faster. And in the comment section, there was a bunch of people that popped up and said, well, how is it that I have one refeed a day a week? And for 3 to 4 days after that one refeed, my metabolism is so fast, I drop most of my fat at that point. It slows down before I have a refeed again. And it's one day, and it's not that much above maintenance. How is that possible? And then, you know, Holly said, well, you're only having one refeed day? Like, she asked a question, and then a bunch more people popped up saying, I get the same thing. Like, that's what we do. My coach has me do one refeed day, and it works like a charm, and it's amazing. I don't need to do a full week. Well, there was no answers. At that point, I mean, there might be now, but when I left off that thread, Holly couldn't answer it because there really wasn't any studies explaining it because that would contradict what she just posted on her Instagram post. But that doesn't mean that Holly's wrong, but it also doesn't mean that these people posting are wrong either. These people posting have seen a phenomenon that I have seen myself, they have seen, and they're able to replicate it over and over and over again. And no, there may not be a scientific study that specifically is for that complete specific instance that those people are doing that with, like the specific foods, specific day, specific amounts, specific training. There may not be that study, but I guarantee you out there somewhere is an explanation as to why that one day, and maybe it's not leptin. Maybe Holly's 100% right. Maybe it takes a whole week for your body to go on a maintenance diet, whereas no caloric restriction, for your leptin levels to rise. But some kind of phenomenon is happening from one refeed day. It's across the board. It's happening. We see it over and over again. So to say that the leptin levels are the only thing that cause fat loss, and as leptin drops, you can't lose fat anymore, or you reduce fat, is just not true. There may be another pathway being triggered, because again, I'm not a scientist, I don't know. There may be another pathway being triggered that liberates body fat from that one refeed meal. I don't know. But you can't sit there and say it's not true and it doesn't happen. And Holly didn't even say that. She was just like, I think she was confused because it's a different, again, it's a different phenomenon. It's a different instance, and there's something different going on. It's not what she was talking about to begin with. And the people had questions legitimately because I think they made the jump saying, somebody actually did say, if I take one day and I bring my calories up for one day, will that bring the leptin up enough so that I continue burning body fat? And Holly said, no, it's not. Now, she may very well be 100% factually right that maybe your leptin doesn't come up in one day, but something is happening. So now we need to look at what is actually happening, and that, maybe there are studies out there nobody's talked about yet, nobody's found them yet, nobody's paying attention. These new studies came out in 2018. It's 2019 now. There might be shit happening right now as we speak that doctors and scientists are like, oh, motherfucker, we can do one day of increased carbohydrates, and next thing you know, we have this metabolism boost from thermic effect of food, from increased fucking brain activity. Who the fuck knows what it is? I mean, when you give your body a bunch of carbs when it hasn't had them, your brain loves that shit. People always talk about the body using carbs. Your fucking brain loves carbohydrates. It's so easy to use that when it gets carbohydrates and hasn't had them, it doesn't want to let go of them and it starts running out of them. Next thing you know, your hunger signal kicks in like fucking crazy because your brain wants more carbs. It could be something to do with the brain triggering something in the body, thinking, oh shit, we had the carbs, now we think we're going to fucking die because we're in starvation mode again, get rid of some of this body fat real quick to keep us alive. I don't know what's happening, but the bottom line is, guys, you can't dismiss actual practical application over and over again when it literally is able to be replicated over and over. You can't dismiss that shit just because there's no PhD talking about it. You can't say it's not real just because you haven't seen it or because you don't look for the explanation. I'm sure that maybe, Lane and Holly are probably going to go, what the hell is this all about? How is this happening? And I'm sure Lane's seen this phenomenon. He's been coaching people for so many years. I'm sure he's seen that phenomenon. People jack their carbs up for one day and start losing body fat faster. That maybe they're going to start looking into it and trying to find the explanation. And maybe we'll have that before the end of the year where we could say one day of increasing your carbs does this. This is how it works and this is how to apply it. Now we'll have a week of a diet break, which is basically no, eating maintenance. And we'll have another one where it's a carb cycling where you have one day of refeeding. We'll have two different options and explanations possibly by the end of the year. Who knows? Maybe we're not going to have it for another 5 years. But it doesn't change the fact that there are things going out there that a lot of people don't understand or explain or can't explain. But that doesn't mean that it's not real and it's not happening. It's just a matter of people letting their ego go to say, I don't know, but if you're seeing this happening, keep doing it. If it's working for you, keep doing it. I have people say, well, Jerry, I do this, and this, and it works really well. But what do you think I should do? Well, if that's working well for you, yeah. Well, why the fuck are you going to change it? You know what I mean? Keep doing what you're fucking doing. Just because it's not something that I do or I've heard of doesn't mean it's not awesome because it's working for you. Matter of fact, I might try what you're doing and give it a shot and see what the fuck happens. You know what I mean? Like, be aware, guys. Everything is an experiment with this shit. And not many people, even when science do the experiments, it's an experiment, if that makes any sense. It's an experiment. They're not really sure what the outcome is going to be. But they want to know. Just because we don't take every little thing and study every little thing, or they don't, rather, I should say, doesn't mean that bodybuilders are not fucking 10 to 15 years ahead trying stuff where they're like, well, I did a whole week diet break. What if I did 3 days? What if I did 3 different days? What if I did like Monday I had high carbs, Tuesday, Wednesday I had low carbs, Thursday I had high carbs, Friday, Saturday I did, Friday I had low carbs, Saturday I had high carbs, Sunday I was 0 carbs. Like, who's to say that fucking that doesn't work better? I mean, there's so many different ways of doing things, but the bottom line is, guys, it's very hard for people like myself to put out information that we're really trying to help people with that works. It absolutely works, and there's a bunch of different ways to do it. My way is not the only way, but it works. It works every time. It's easy to replicate, and it's easy to step back and say, this does this, so when you do this, so this is the result. And it's very discouraging to have people that, sit back and they're they're fucking keyboard cowboy fucking armchair quarterbacks that read some shit. Like, you know, Ian McCarthy is a perfect example. Ian never produced anything physique-wise. He never produced anything client-wise. But he had all this science to back everything up, and he talked down to everybody for years. And I think that Ian now, he's a little bit older. He's seen a little bit different. Like, he kind of got out of this whole thing. He's not really fucking with it anymore because realistically, everything he did didn't really work out, didn't pan out. So I'm sure now, and, you know, I've talked to other people that were all about the studies, calories in, calories out, fucking all the shit that was like scientific. And now they go, well, you know, I've seen some stuff in the past couple of years. You know, I'm starting to look at things a little bit differently as I've been in this thing more and more often. And if after you're there for 10, 20, 30 years, you're going to be like, I have seen shit that makes no fucking sense, but it worked. So bottom line is, guys, whatever works, keep doing it. And if there's no study to back it up, just give it time. Eventually, you will come full circle and you have all the fucking answers. BioStreetTraining@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. BioStreetTraining.com is the blog. It's all the answers coming up, Bicep, and we are out.